Welcome to Digital Learning Day, Out of This World Google Geo Tools. My name is Christine Danhoff, and I'm the Technology Integration Specialist at Genoa Area Local Schools in Genoa, Ohio. Today, we're going to take a look at all of the different Google tools that are out there to help your students explore places from around the world, all by sitting in the classroom or doing things in the classroom. So today, if you have any questions during this session, please feel free to write your notes or questions in this bit.ly link here, bit.ly/DLDGeoNotes, and then that way I can answer those questions while you're watching. The link to the presentation materials is found at the top here. We're going to take a look at 4 different Google Geo tools today: My Maps, Google Earth, Google Expeditions, and Google Tour Creator. This is going to not only let your students just explore geo tools, but also create with those geo tools as well. My contact information is found here for you to get to. You can find me on Twitter. My email is there, and my website as well to find any other resources you may need after today. So let's get started. We're going to take a trek out of our classrooms, out of our seat, and we're going to travel across the world to different places today. Here's an example of traveling to Antarctica, and sure feels that way in some of the areas that we're in here. So we're going to take a look at the new Google Earth that does run in your Chromebooks. We're going to look at ways students can incorporate My Maps into the classroom setting. We're going to take students across the globe to other places in 360 tours or in virtual reality using Google Expeditions. And then we're going to have our students create their own expeditions using Google Tour Creator. So the first one we're going to take a look at today is Google My Maps. So what is My Maps? We think of when we are putting in our GPS locations in our car that we're using My Maps. But in Google My Maps, this is housed in the student's Google Drive, and it allows them to create their own maps for different content that you're studying with them. It's free. It allows them to add different layers. They can add pins to different spots. They can even calculate the distance between areas as well. They can collaborate on the same map, so students can be working together on group projects. They can add video, they can add images, and they can even pull Pegman down to view a certain place in Street View. So there's a lot of different things that you may not have known that you can do with My Maps. So let's take a look at what this is going to look like first. So when I'm in my Google Drive, I'm going to go to my New, and I'm going to come down here to More and go to Google My Maps. Once I'm there, I'm going to look for a location, and we're going to add it as a pin to our map. So let me bring one up here. We're going to say create a new map. So the first thing you'll have your students do, of course, is to name their map. And you can give a description as well. Okay, and then we save it as we go. And then when I want to search for my first area, I'm just going to search for our town. And it's going to find it and automatically put a pin there. And then I can say, add it to my map. Now, you get some pretty cool tools here that you can do. You can change the color of it. I can change the style of the icon that is there. So if I'm looking for a school, I can pull up the ones with the kids and add that, and I can change my color. And then as I go in here, I can edit the information. So if I want to say Genoa Elementary or Genoa Area Local Schools, I can do that. And then I can even add my own description. So students are creating their own information for this activity. Once I have that, I'm going to say save. You'll also see that I have the option to add the images or video. So I can pull things right from the web. So I can say Google image search, Genoa Schools. There's our logo, and I can add that in there. And then I can even add another one. So I just hit the plus sign. And maybe this time I want to upload or add a video of something. So I could go into YouTube and search a video of our school district that way too. See if it's in here. Oh, and I have to get the actual URL from there, so I can't post that one in there. We're going to go with this. We're going to say save, And then I have that option there that I can get directions to there, or I can delete it. Now you'll also see up at the top here, I can select items. I can add my own pin for an area if I want. So I can pin this certain spot right here if I would like. And I can even measure or draw lines or measure the distances between different areas. So I'm going to sneak back here to our presentation and show you a student sample of our high school Spanish class by Mrs. Holly Shapilia. And she has her students every year do an activity where they have to plan out a vacation to South America. They actually have to figure out what hotel they're going to stay at, what area they're going to go to. So this was a sample of a student project, and you can see they collaborated on this. And from in here, you can see that they changed some of their information, their pins. And when I actually come in here, they had to put it in Spanish. So they're flying out of Toledo. They're flying into another place. And we're going to see all the flights are located here. So there is no information there. Then we get into a different layer they created. So they created the layer of what hotel did they choose? Well, here are 5 photos of the hotel that they decided that they were going to stay at, with some information about that hotel, so that way they know as they go there. And they have some other options as well. They have restaurants, places that they could go eat at or go visit along the way, activities, things to do. So they even added in here the line to show the travel steps that they were going to take in order to do this project. She has a sample of her project here that you can access. So you can see here all the things that were required of the students to do collaboratively using Google My Maps. So that's just one way that you can use My Maps in the classroom. You can explore maps that they have. They have different places from around the world. You can find all the Bigfoot sightings. There's all kinds of information within here. If I go in here, I'm going to take a look at one that was created all about European exploration. I know this is a history standard for students, so if I want to take a look at Henry the Navigator and see where they were at, I can see that there is a place that was located. I can find Cartier's first voyage and see the lines that they took from around the area. And you can even see when I zoom out of my map, they've added all of the different routes as well as some of the flags that are located from those different countries that they're flying from. So this is a sample that was not created by me, but probably created by a student that you can explore a little bit more. You can also see that with collaboration, you can get a feel for where do your students come from. So here's a sample of a workshop where we were trying to find out where was everyone's first teaching job at. So when you set your map, you'll have to make it so that way anyone with the link can edit. And then that way people can add their location, add their name, where they originated from. And you can use this for students to tell about where they went during the summer. You can have it be used for story maps of literary things that you're reading. You can have it be for historical events and wars that have taken place. You can also do a different way for your students to learn about the community and locate different places that are around. So lots of awesome ways that students can use Google My Maps from first grade all the way up through 12th grade and beyond. So feel free to check that one out. The next one, Earth. Google Earth has updated a few years ago here, so that way we can use it within the Chromebooks, which is fantastic. You can toggle between 2D and 3D view. And then just last year, they added the feature to create projects within it. So here's what the Google Tool menu looks like. So when you get into Google Tools or Google Earth in your browser, you're going to see your menu. You have your search, which is going to let you type in addresses or find locations. You're also going to be able to have some fun with the Voyager, and I'll show you what that looks like in a moment. Feeling Lucky just gives you random places, and this can be great for a writing prompt for the day or for students to do a little bit of exploration and research for the day. Here's the new Google Projects that you can create, and then being able to measure not only distance between places, but making an area to be able to measure. In the bottom right corner of your screen, you're going to have the ability to zoom in and out, reset your view, do the 3D version. There's Pegman, so I can drag them down to the blue dots to get in Street View or to fly to a location. So we're going to take a look at one of the collaborative projects that some of our students in our district worked on. They were talking about their place on the map. So we decided to go on a little trek and explore our community where we live. So you'll see here I've linked a document that you can use and modify for your own self to put the locations that are meaningful to you and your students that they can check out. So I'm going to dive in here to the Google Earth on the web. And once we get in here, I'm going to show you where the projects is located at. So that way you can kind of see what can you all include within the projects. So here's my projects, and I have multiple ones that I have. I can add people to share it with and collaborate on, just like you can with a Google Doc or any of the Google tools. And if I go in here to present, this is what it would look like. So you can see I have a table of contents, and it's flying me into our school, and I have 6 different things I've added. So over here, the students can add this content. So it's a great way for them to practice putting in their information that they've researched and tell a little bit more about it. When I hit the next button here, it's going to fly out. It's going to take us into our town where we live. So you're going to see the whole area outline what is considered our community. And then you're going to see all these other pins because these are other locations that we're going to fly into. So one of the most famous places for restaurants in our town is located here. Favorite swimming hole, of course, and these were some of the places that students were mapping. So this is exactly what students were doing. Of course, if you were working with older students, they would be able to incorporate more images and pictures, which I'll show you what that would look like. If I wanted to add my own photos or activities to this, I could go in and edit this. So that way I can change what the pin looks like. I can change the color. I can replace that information that is given by Google, and you can see I can add hyperlinks. I can type info or text, and I can even add my own photos from there as well. So you have that option for creativity for your students in order to use the Google Earth projects. The other one that you might want to look at in Google Earth, which is one of my favorites, is the Voyager. And I would highly suggest checking that one out. And I'll click on the Voyager here. It has broken down by education activities, travel, culture, Street View, the games. If you are from the time period of Where in the World is Carmen Sandiego, it is back. So students can play and use their critical thinking skills to analyze and figure out where Carmen Sandiego is on the Earth using Google Earth. So there's some quizzes here, lots of educational content that is focused on in Google Earth for you to explore. Here's a great startup of how to start using those projects, and then just some other ideas of how you can incorporate this into your classroom setting. All right, we're moving on to Google Expeditions. So Google Expeditions is a 360 tour that can be used with virtual reality headsets, and it can also be viewed on Chromebooks that run Google Play Store apps. So I've given you the list of all the VR, AR expeditions that are here, and it will be a spreadsheet, and you can take a look at these different things. We'll give it a chance to load up here, and you'll see the name of the expedition. I'm in the VR ones, which are the 360. They also have augmented reality ones, but we're going to just take a look at the VR ones today. And if I scroll over here, Language Arts, 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, you'll see that I have a poly link. So if any of these tours have a link here, that means you can click on it and view it on students' Chromebooks or project it on your screen. So if I'm a language arts teacher and I'm teaching this, this may be a great option to share with your students to get a feel for what was this actually like. And I'm just rotating around here in 360. And then whenever I see these little information tags here, it's places where there is all kinds of information about the actual story and it will guide me in different areas throughout. And then I just click the button to go to the next scene. And if I was viewing with VR goggles or a headset, I would be looking around with my eyes and body and then being able to click on these information links that way. So that is a little bit of what Google Expeditions looks like in that area. And then here's some samples of what the augmented reality features look like. You have markers that are shown here, and then you can bring artifacts or animals or content to life for your students to explore a little more closely, rather than taking a field trip to the zoo or to places that they might not be able to get to on a school bus. All right, last but not least, we're going to take a look at my favorite one called Google Tour Creator. What this is it's creating now your own Google Expedition. So here we saw Google's version of one they've created. With Tour Creator, students can create on their Chromebooks or desktop or laptop, create their own 360 tour. And then the best thing about this is that it can be uploaded or put into Google Expeditions, and you can guide the whole class using students' examples. So we're going to take a look at what this would look like. So this is a great getting started guide, and I'm going to go in here to my Tour Creator. We're going to get started. The link is there. You can click right on it as well from the presentation. And then once I have it loaded up to create one, you're going to see a little bit about what that will look like. Okay, so now I'm in Google Tour Creator, and I'm going to go to one that I had started before. And so you can see when I first have a tour, I have to enter a title for it. I can add a cover image. I can add some information. And then I'm going to get started. And you can see I have some scenes that I've already added to this one. So I have uploaded a 360 photo of the Toledo Zoo here that I took with my niece and nephew and my son one summer. And then within there, you can come over here and actually add still photographs. You can upload your own voice narration, which is fabulous for students to be able to tell their story, and even add some background audio. I can add multiple points of interest. So this is just one right now that I have. And then you can see that I can even set the starting view of what is that scene going to look like. When I go into here, you can see I've done another one. We're at the bowling alley that's here. And you can tell where it's at, the description. And this one does have scene narration. Now, if I was going to add another scene, if I didn't have a 360 camera and I just wanted to search for a place, so let's say I'm going to look for Cedar Point. Okay, so I'm at Cedar Point. Now look at the one it's bringing me to. It's bringing me to an outside theater. So let's actually find another street view image. So I'm going to zoom in, and then I'm going to take Pegman, and wherever there are these blue lines, as you can see everywhere, I can drop that there. So I want to bring them over to the Top Thrill Dragster here. I'm going to drop it there. So this is the view that I want to use to add to my tour. And then down here, I'll click Add Scene. And then now I have my scene here of Cedar Point, and I can give it some information. So some really awesome ways that students can incorporate their own tours. So here's a sample. So we have here the Ryko Theta camera that you can use to upload your own. You can also have using Google Street View's camera to take your own 360, or use Google's tour creators like I just did with Cedar Point. But this is one of my favorites. Here's a Google drawing template that students can put images, text, anything in between this area here. They get rid of the words, area of distortion, save it as a JPEG, and they can upload it into Tour Creator here. When they say add scene, they'll say upload an image, and it makes it a 360 image to put into their tour. So really awesome ways to do that. Before we go, I want to show you a sample of what our fourth graders created of Genoa. And this was from one of our teachers, Miss Serena Parlett. And she had her students go uptown and use the Ryco Theta camera to take 360 photos, and then they added their own information. And they were talking about places in our town and what the buildings are and what they stand for. And you can see all the things that they did. And these were fourth graders. So anyone can do this. The students just needed a little bit of information to try it out, but they did a fabulous job. And then here's some other curriculum samples that you can pull from Google Poly. These are already created, some by students, some by Google Expeditions, that you could probably find some information even if you didn't find a Google Expedition in the spreadsheet here. I would highly suggest searching through the Google Poly and look for things that you may need for your curriculum. Last but not least, check out some of these things to explore: the Google Earth Studio, some GeoTrex, GeoGuessr, and GeoGreeting. These are some awesome ways to get kids thinking about geography and places around our world. And then just some other fun ones that you may want to use, or actually things that would be great to use for the science classroom or the math classroom when you're talking about the true size of places or comparing maps. Some great resources here to include. Last but not least, our school hosts the GTech Summit every year, and I would highly encourage you to submit a presentation proposal for that. It is open now. Please save the date for August 4th, and we hope to see you out here then. Thank you again for your time today. If there are any questions, I will answer those in the document. You can also share your feedback here. And the code, of course, for today for your form is located there. Have an awesome day, and I look forward to hearing from you soon.